you, Madam Chair. And for all of the Americans who are watching this hearing online or on television, I want to be clear-eyed about what the Biden administration and my Democrat friends are doing this week. This week, Democrats are using a budget procedure originally designed to cut spending to pave the way for a massive spending spree that with interest will add over $2 trillion to the national debt, despite the immediate availability of over $1 trillion in unspent funds from the CARES Act and a $900 billion relief bill passed less than 2 months ago. That stands repeating. Over $1 trillion in unspent funds are immediately available for the American people. I would hope that all of us on a bipartisan basis would focus on actually deploying those funds before we rushed to saddle the future generations of Americans with an additional $2 trillion in debt. But one thing we absolutely must do is do no harm. And I want to explore this minimum wage hike that's included in this bill, because at a time when so many workers, and especially low-wage workers, minority workers that Ms. Murguia was just talking about, are struggling, one thing we absolutely should not do is force those workers to lose their only source of income. And Congress went to great lengths through the PPP to ensure small businesses could keep their employees on the payroll. Yet this proposal from President Biden and congressional Democrats to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 per hour without any adjustment based on regional differences in cost of living would compromise those efforts. According to the CBO, 1.3 million low-income workers will lose their jobs because of this misguided proposal. And I have spoken, and I want my friends, my Democrat friends who support this policy, who are well-intentioned, who want to help low-income workers, and I share their goal. I want them to hear what I was told by my local restaurateurs. And they're probably telling you the same thing. A sector of the economy that has been devastated by this pandemic. And I've talked to big restaurateurs with 1,800 employees across all of their restaurants. And then in some cases, a small restaurateur owns 2 restaurants in a very low wage, low cost of living county, Estill County in my district. And they said it would be catastrophic. Those 2 restaurants would close as a result of this because of the low cost of living. Those 40 employees would lose their jobs. And the large restaurateur told me in Lexington, Kentucky, he told me that because of this policy, his business would lose 70% of their profits, and the result would be quote unquote carnage for the tipped employees in his business. So, Dr. Strain, what would be the impact on low-income workers, especially those in the distressed restaurant sector, with this across-the-board hike in the federal minimum wage that would destroy jobs?
Thank you, Congressman. Your characterization is correct. I think CBO's estimate of 1.3 million is actually on the low side. There are 3 states where the median wage is below $16.50, where half of all workers earn less than $16.50. There are 24 states where half of all workers earn less than $18 or $18.50 an hour. And in 47 states, over 1/4 of workers earn less than $15 an hour. So this would be extremely disruptive, particularly in low-wage states. But, when you think about low-wage states, think about like half the states.
Well, can I just reclaim my time real quickly? Because I know my Democrat colleagues do very much care about, just like we do, these low-income workers. But the reality is, in the restaurant sector, this past year, nearly 1 in every 5 restaurants permanently closed their doors. And over 30 of the country's largest retail and restaurant companies have filed for bankruptcy. Is this the time? Is this really the time to put greater stress on those employers in their ability to retain workers, I think this is a devastating policy that will destroy jobs and kill people's ability to stay employed. And with that, my time has expired and I yield back.